Everybody, welcome back. Episode 2 podcast. We've had a lot of good feedback. Back with Jordan and Russ and myself, Ollie. And like I said, we're here for round 2. And it was a lot of fun last time. I think you guys could all agree on that.
A lot of fun, yeah.
And
it's always a little bit, you never know how it's going to turn out. And I've actually had quite a few people say like how good it was.
Yeah.
So that's always a good sign.
Well, we're good entertainment, so.
feedback's been good. So.
And speaking about feedback, we want more inquiries and questions, and that's what we're here for, is to speak to the public. So if you guys have any questions, get them to us so we can answer your inquiries and give you more insight into the real estate market, right?
Yeah, what are you looking for? What kind of answers? What kind of questions? What do you need to know?
What are some of the questions people are asking these days? Let's get into it.
What I've been seeing a lot more lately, subject to sales.
Yeah, let's talk about subject to sale.
I don't think a lot of people really understand the whole subject to sale thing. Like it's any buyer out there right now, most of them are needing a subject to sale.
Yeah, let's
So,
tell them. Let's start off with that. What exactly is a subject to sale? What are the ins and outs of it? And
well, subject to sale is when you want to go buy another property, but you can't actually buy that property unless you sell your property. So you go and you get an accepted offer on the property you want, and then you try and sell your property as fast as possible, because typically there's a time limit on how much time the sellers will give you to sell your house.
And I'm seeing that as more common these days. Would you say that subject to sales? Would you be surprised if you got a subject to sale offer on your place these days?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I wouldn't be ecstatic.
No, that's not the question.
The problem with subject to sale is when you're representing a seller, is that you're putting that deal into the other agent's hand. Yeah. You have no control
into the buyer's agent's hand.
In the buyer's agent's
hand.
Even
with the 72-hour clause, the 42-hour clause.
That's all great, but you don't have control of the product they're selling. So you will know what they're selling.
The other person that's buying your
their
place.
Pricing, how they're listing, how they're marketing.
And do you inquire about that when you're getting a subject to sale? Do you say, "What are you selling? Send me the address."
Of course.
Of course.
The first question is your property
two-bedroom condo in Surrey?
Is your buyer?
I got a question for you, Ollie. Yes. Okay, so if you're writing a subject to sale offer on something, are you ready to list tomorrow of that place, or are you going,
listed.
Hey, well, we're ready. We're not listed, but we're ready to go in the next couple of days, but we're not going to list unless we can get an accepted offer on this. Or are you listing 3 days before you go and try an offer on something?
So I tell my buyers, you've got to be ready. Yeah. You've got to have, I've got my...
marketing, pictures, video, all that stuff ready?
Yeah.
Or at least get ready to the point where it can be done in the next couple of days.
Okay. Yes.
Right? If I'm writing a subject to sale offer on a property, that property that is going to be listed for my buyers, it needs to be ready within the maximum is a week.
Yeah.
Maximum
because the deal's finicky.
And you don't want to come to me and try and write an offer. I'm gonna be like, well, when are you listing? You're like, well, I haven't taken pictures. I haven't done.
I just had yesterday.
We're already a week and a half probably from the time you're listing. 2 weeks before you probably even have a couple showings.
The market can change.
2.5 weeks before you even get an offer.
Yeah.
So you're probably, even if you're ready, you're 3 weeks away from
the market can change within 2 weeks.
Right?
I think that maximum subject to sale time is 30 days.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So if you're not on the market, if it takes you a week to get on the market, right? There's 7 days gone.
Yeah.
Now you've got a week to hopefully get an accepted offer, which in this market is really
tough.
And then you've got 2 weeks of conditions.
Yeah.
Right. So there goes your 28 days right
so
there.
Tight. Really
right.
Tight.
And then you're running back to the seller and saying, "Oh, can I have an extension?"
Yeah.
Right?
Do you keep that subject to sale openness tight? Do you say, "Hey, we only need a month. Hopefully everything works out." Or do you go, "Hey, I want as much time as possible because I don't want to feel crazy pressure."
I keep it tight because I want the sellers to sell.
Yeah, so I kind of
the buyers to sell their property.
You're trying to convince the sellers to be like, yeah, we'll accept your subject to sale. So if you ask for 3 months, they're gonna be like, no.
Yes.
If you ask for a month and it doesn't happen in a month, you can always go back to them and be like, hey, we tried.
This is where we're at.
This is where we're at.
And are you guys always 72 hours or do you do 42 hours?
I try and push the 72 hours, no weekends, no statutory holidays.
If you're the buyer buying the property, you want 72 hours, no statutory holidays. Of course.
We can
but if you're the seller,
we can play buyer's agent and seller's agent.
Right?
And Russ comes in on one of my listings and it's subject to sale and he's got 72-hour clause. no
Statutory
weekends,
weekends.
no
Yeah.
statutory
Yeah.
holidays, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like I'm crossing that off. You're getting 24 hours.
See, and you know what, Ollie?
Well,
you're
if
right.
it-
It would,
but
to
what
me,
if-
Hill, if I may, to me that would be funny because like I know what I can get away with, what I can't. If I submitted that offer to you and I'm like, I hope it goes through.
And some-
then you
and
get
some-
back, it's like off, like, damn, he knows what he's
And
doing.
some people already know that, like, you know, if you work with an experience, like, you probably wouldn't try that on me. You'd be like, okay, I'm gonna meet.
I would try
No,
anything. I
no,
would try.
you know what I would do? Because it
I
is
mean,
you, I would phone you.
Yeah,
I would phone
100%.
If I didn't know you, I would just be like, here's what I'm
Yes.
trying. If I know you, I know
We're gonna
I'd be
talk
like,
it out.
okay, Ollie, like, would you guys even consider a subject to sale? Okay, would you do 48 or 72 hour bump clause? The extra thing that I've been sneaking in, or not sneaking
Here we
in, it's
go.
obvious.
Here's the crumbs right here.
But there's been a couple times in the past where I've had subject to sales where we're getting action, and we're getting an offer, and then they try and bump us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, we didn't have enough time to like deal with the offer that we have in place before you're trying to bump us. And now my client's in the middle, like they can't sell their place
Yeah.
if they can't get the place
I
they're trying to buy.
understand. Yeah.
So I did notice this from another realtor a couple years ago that I took,
Yeah.
and I added every single subject
I
to
went
sale
too.
that
I wonder if it's the same
is
thing.
basically like, hey, subject to sale, 48-hour clause, try not weekends, whatever, statutory holidays.
Yeah.
But if we get an accepted offer on
I
our
did the
place,
exact same thing.
you have to pause. You cannot give us notice
While we're doing subjects.
while we're working through our subject removal period with the
I
buyer,
just did that with Steve Marshall.
and to a maximum of 10 days. They don't want 3 months.
So explain
whatever.
that just a little bit so people understand it, because I think it's a good one to know about.
So subject to sale, saying, hey, I want to buy your place, but I have to sell my house first.
Yes.
In that time where we're trying to sell our house so that we can buy yours, if somebody comes in and gives us an offer,
Subject to home inspection. Subject to
and they have subjects for 10 days, but all of a sudden the other house
That
is
you
like,
wanna buy.
hey, we've got another offer, we're going to try and bump you out of the way.
the 42-hour clause of bumping.
Yes.
You're like, no.
No, wait, we have an accepted offer, and now you have to give us 10 days to work through
I
this.
think that's beautiful.
I think
it
it's,
makes sense.
I think
It's
it,
beautiful.
I think
I'm crossing that off.
okay.
I'm crossing
See,
that
and
off.
I love us.
So the problem with that was me as representing the seller. If I'm representing the seller and another group wants to come in and bump that offer,
Yeah.
they want to know exactly what that subject to sale term is.
Yeah.
And if they see that term, oh well, they have this amount of time to remove their subjects if they have an accepted offer. You know, it's just
10 days, 7 days,
It's
8
just a
days.
big area. Maybe that offer, maybe that group won't right now, and then maybe you do have an accepted offer, and maybe it collapses.
Yeah.
Because the best thing when you're representing the seller is when you have an offer that's subject to sale, and the next buyers walk through
Okay,
the
let me
door.
ask you this question.
Right.
So let's say that was the deal breaker where I'm going to give you an offer. It's a good offer. We want your home. We have a good product to sell. I need this subject in here where at least I get 10 days. These people don't want to be screwed. They
don't wanna be homeless.
While my people are getting a home inspection,
Yeah.
you can't change your offer. This is a deal breaker. You wouldn't cross that. You wouldn't take that offer.
I would.
wanna cross it off, but would you-
It depends.
Yeah.
Is the property on the market?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It has to go.
I want to see it. I want to see the pictures.
Yeah.
I want to see what it's priced at.
Yeah.
And
I think it
who
comes
the
down to
fuck are you?
Yeah, my
I love what you
issue.
said. I think it comes down to integrity. Like if these people really want it, my people really want it. It's all lined up. It's all integral. Then I'd let that kind of go. But if I smell anything funny in there,
Yeah.
I'm crossing it off.
If the buyers really like it, that you might come across, you might be like, Ollie, it's a deal breaker for them.
Yeah.
But but I know if the buyers really like it,
They
won't understand it, and they'll say no, it's not a deal breaker for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Right.
understand.
So that's the way I feel
Yeah.
about it, and like I'm not trying to be harsh or anything,
No.
but I'm just trying to protect my sellers. And
Yeah.
if they really like it and they don't want to do subject to sale, like I would just say to the other agent, like here's your opportunity to put their house on the market.
And
If
see
it
what
doesn't
happens.
if it doesn't work out with this one, that doesn't mean the next house down the road that isn't for sale isn't going to come up on
Yeah.
the market.
I love this.
Right?
It's a great conversation.
I'm
I
just-
wouldn't just take it. If someone sent it to me, I wouldn't just take it. There's a lot of questions to be asked. I'm totally with you on that.
I'm just worried
Yeah,
for my clients. Like
100%.
in this exact situation that I have right now, we have an accepted offer on this house, trying to sell
So
this
right now
townhouse.
you are the buyer.
I'm the buyer. We have an accepted offer on a house.
Yeah.
We're trying to sell their townhouse right now.
Yeah.
They have 2 kids
Yeah.
in sports. I know how crazy it is.
Yeah.
And if we
Can't
we
get
are
it.
like all in, we accept this offer on their townhouse.
Yeah.
and these people who bump us out of the way, we can't back out of selling the townhouse.
Even being a good realtor, you're screwed.
It's in it's in the buyer's hands now, and if they decide to complete and we can't get that house, now we're sold and we have a move out date that we've accepted.
So
and now we have to try and find a place to live.
I got to work around that. So then you put in your own condition as the sellers, and you do a confirmation of purchase.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And then that way there's no way, like, you
So it's kind of the same thing, but putting it on the other
yeah,
side.
it's like, okay, like, I know you guys really want this townhouse, but like if it sells and we get bumped during this subject removal period that you guys have, and you end up removing subjects, my people can't be homeless.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And
I would
then-
always
So
try
that's
and
a
do.
subject or a clause? You said a clause.
That's
It's-
a condition.
it's a
condition.
subject,
It's a
yes.
condition. It's
A
a
subject.
seller condition on confirming.
Not a subject.
Yeah, subject.
Subject.
condition.
Yeah.
Seller subject.
So
So
subject to the seller
Getting
getting
confirmation.
confirmation
Yeah.
of the purchase of the property that they're looking for.
As a buyer's agent, I would always try and put it on the house that I'm purchasing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can't bump us during our
Yes.
subject. But if they say no, then I would use that on the other side of, like, when we get an offer on the townhouse. Hey, we accept your offer on the condition that we don't get bumped out of this
Yeah.
other one.
That's a
That's
good
exactly
then-
what you got to do.
Yeah, and then
And
do you
there's
think-
there's no way they can be homeless.
Yeah.
Do you,
that's
yeah,
good,
do
yeah.
you think that the buyers of the place are like trying to write an offer and they're like, hey, we're trying to buy this place, but I put that subject in. Does that cool them off again? Does that say, well, I'm trying to buy a place, and now you're going to say, well, maybe I can buy it,
I don't
right?
think
It
so.
kind of goes both
I think
ways.
if they're invested in the property,
They'll-
right? Like,
they'll
you know,
agree.
like what we're experiencing in this market right now is a lot of people who are just kicking tires, right?
Yeah.
They're not super interested in buying. They're kind of shopping around. Well, if I don't get it, I'll move on to the next one and this and that. But if they're really emotionally invested in the property, they're going to allow it. And especially like,
Yeah.
you know, something like a townhouse, like whoever's buying that townhouse it's a 50-50 shot. They're either selling a condo
Or
or a
first time.
first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
Right? So they should be okay with that, right? So
Yeah, they should understand because they're probably in the same situation
Exactly. If they're selling.
Yeah.
And if they're first-time home buyers, that's great. They're super flexible.
because they're either renting, living in the parents' basement, and don't
Exactly.
really care about the timing
What I'm
as much.
hearing is what you just said was it's if the buyer is flimsy or not flimsy, and I think it comes down to the realtor that you're working with. Has him or she gotten down to the nitty gritty with that client? Do they know that client? Because when I'm talking to you, I want to know who your client is.
Yeah,
Right.
Totally.
And so if you're dealing with a realtor who's not that good, it's just like if that realtor doesn't know their client and they're both flimsy.
And
then,
we
you know what I mean?
I have to convince you,
Yeah.
or I have to convince you. And when I'm writing an offer as subject to sale, like I have to present my case,
Yeah.
saying like, here's what we got, this is what we're pricing at, we're listing
And if
in
that
3
other realtor
days,
doesn't know who they are,
and we're only asking for 30 days. If it doesn't work out, you don't want to give us an extension at that time.
You
Sure.
say, you say convince. I say indirectly coaching. I indirectly coach other realtors.
Yeah.
In
To tell them
making-
what you want.
Yes.
It's a game of telephone, right? It's like
100%.
I'm telling you to tell your client
Yes.
something, right? So, and I have to tell you in a way that I'm putting it in your head, so I'm not telling you what to do.
100%.
You're coming up with the idea, and then
if
you're
you can
pass-
make them feel like they came up with the idea, you're-
or it's just like, hey, Russ, your guys wanna buy my property, and my guys wanna sell it,
Yeah.
right? So like, let's work together here.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times I'll say off the record, what can we do to get to this together?
Yeah.
Right. Here's where we're at. I'm like, I'm easy to work with, you know. So like, let's figure
Let's
it
just
out
shoot
together,
it.
and we're not gonna butt heads, right?
Yeah, because it is a team, especially subject to sales. It's a collaboration of everybody,
It's my
and
favorite,
like
it's my favorite word, collaboration.
100%.
because you're
I
not.
love that. Nice, buddy.
Isn't it so much easier to collaborate with somebody
Yeah,
than
absolutely.
fight with somebody? And you get on the phone with people sometimes, and you're like, "This is not going anywhere."
if I can say that
It's
too,
not
like
going
if
anywhere.
you and I are working together on a deal and it doesn't work out, if you're collaborating with the other realtor and you're good realtors, I know peace of mind. Hey, it didn't work out because it didn't work out. You know what I mean? Like
not because of us.
not because like it was just hey, this is not the right home night or whatever. Like the economics didn't line up, but. I love when I'm working with a good realtor. You're collaborating. Like if all and I are working together, and the deal falls apart, then you know that the deal was not meant to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is fun when you work with another realtor that you somewhat know and you can like have conversations with.
And you got to be real careful with the realtors that are out there. You got to be really careful, saying certain things because
Oh, yeah.
I've had lots of deals not to come together because of that specific realtor right? Like, you know, they're like, but you said this, and I'm like, no, I didn't say that.
Yeah,
I actually
not
didn't.
exactly.
You took what
You
I
took
said
it,
out of
yeah.
context, and you told your buyer, and they took it a different way.
The exact words that I said is
Right?
that's
So-
exactly what I meant. I
So
did not
like
mean
when
the
you're
other-
when you're in the initial talks with that realtor, you got to be real precise and you know and figure them out, right? Because you don't want them to say the wrong thing. Like, you know, how many times do you talk to a realtor or can't even talk to them,
Yeah.
right? It's just email.
I
Email.
hate this.
You do-
My
you-
class is
you
hey,
do.
can you update on the open house? I message person, hey, call me. What do you want? I'm like, just call me.
You
What
do
want?
hate
I'm
it,
like,
but it's because
I'm the one. I'm like, why are you? What do you
I
want
know-
to talk about first?
Yeah, of course. Hey, it's
you're
smart. I don't want
You're
that,
you're just dropping in like, hey, you want to talk? What are we talking about? Because do I need to be prepared
Yeah.
for what we're talking about?
Of course, it's a smart question.
Yeah.
I want to catch you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to catch
That's
you.
why I'm like, nope.
you hate that they don't answer or that they won't pick up the phone, but there's a reason why they do that, right?
100%.
So it's either once they've been, you know, screwed over and lost a deal before,
Yeah.
or two, maybe they're not good at talking and maybe they're not good at negotiating.
Or maybe they're just not
They're-
quick on their feet, right?
Yes.
That's why they want to email, because then
What
they
about-
have a chance to think about what they want to say,
What
right?
about this? How many deals have you guys done where you never even seen the other agent?
Lots.
Like, I'm driving around yesterday, I'm seeing like Olacius or something Olacius. I'm like, hey, and it was a great deal.
the agents don't even see the property.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they maybe show up for the inspection, but
Yeah.
like if I'm writing an offer for my buyer, like I'm going through the property.
100%.
Right?
I was like, when I'm like, oh, hey, what's your name? And I'm like, oh, we've done a deal before.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you look
I've
like.
never seen.
I've
I've
seen your
seen
face.
I've seen realtors' cars before. I'm like, oh, I did a deal with them. I've never. Even, I still don't know. I'm trying to get the look at their
Is that
face.
is
I
that
don't
the
know.
right person?
They
Is that the same
they
person?
unless they're like, you know, guys like you guys or whatever, they get saved in my contacts when the deal is like when we get an accepted offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we touched on it last week. Did we touch on that? Do we have
The
a
black book or whatever.
yeah, a list.
Oh, yeah.
I got a list. I wouldn't say everyone was
I don't
on
have a
there,
list.
but
I love
sometimes
everybody.
I'm
These
just
guys
like,
have a list.
Yeah.
I don't have a list. I love all you guys.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. You keep it in your head.
I keep it in my head for sure,
honestly,
but I've only had one
every
too, though.
realtor that's been a realtor for more than a couple years has a couple on their list.
I
that
like
they're like,
tough people.
they're
I
like,
like tough people. I don't know. I have fun. Like I don't care so much. They're like, I
could
fun.
see that you just like not laugh at them, but just like laugh and be like,
I
why
enjoy the
Why are we
game.
fighting?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's competitive. But I
Until
mean,
the deal starts going sideways, then I'm upset.
no, but
Yeah.
yeah, competitive is one thing. Like I think dealing with competitive realtors is pretty easy, but it's like the ones that are actually jeopardizing the deal.
That's
for
what
the
I'm trying to say.
client.
If you're ruining
it's
my
like,
deal, now I'm getting upset.
over something stupid, like has nothing to do with the deal.
Like a subject to sale, and they're like,
Like-
no, we're not taking subject to sale. I'm like, why? Like, if the
Have you-
realtor's against it, I'm like,
have you talked to
have
your
you even
client?
talked to them about it? No, we're not taking it. I'm like, you know,
Lots of
let's shift about subject to sale. What about multiple offers? Are you guys seeing multiple offers these days?
It's strange. Yeah.
That's why I asked the question.
It's so weird. It's like it's either you've priced it so aggressively because you want to sell, because you need to price it aggressively to sell right now,
Yeah.
and then people are like, "Ooh, I've been waiting for that one." Like the house that I got an
Supply and
accepted
demand.
offer on,
Yeah.
subject to sale, was multiple offers.
That's why.
And
So hold on. So let's just clear that.
and it
So
shouldn't
the
happen.
house that you got. So you a home had multiple offers, and
Yeah.
you one was subject to sale.
Yeah.
That means they
That was-
all had subject to sale.
No, they didn't.
Or receivable.
Well, there was only two offers, one us
Yeah.
and another one. The other one not subject
Well,
to
just
sale.
like you said, some people are kicking cans. If your house is $1 million, someone comes in and drops, $920 because they're kicking cans. The other person has, $999 whatever, and they
Yeah.
got something to sale.
Well, it was also the first week, so they it's crazy again.
Was
They
it the house in
listed.
Pitt Meadows?
Yeah, they
That
listed.
nice house in Pitt Meadows, the one you did the video for.
Yeah.
You guys got that one.
Yeah.
I want that one.
No, it's
What about the
it's
neighbors? But anyways, we'll talk about it after. Do you see that?
locked in right now,
What's-
subject to
what's
sale,
your-
bro.
What's your bump clause?
72-hour clause, like no kicking us out
Nice
if we get
house. The
another
one they did the
offer.
video where you walk in, had the nice line with the
Ah,
pool
it
background and
blew
the
up.
trampoline.
It blew up. Yeah, in-ground trampoline.
Yeah, it was funny. I was doing a video in the backyard, like whatever, and I wasn't really thinking about it, but like I jumped on the trampoline in the video, and I'm like, when I jumped off, I'm like, I'm glad that was not broken. You know what I mean? I should have tested the trampoline
That
before,
would've
but it was an in-ground trampoline, right?
Yeah, sweet.
You guys got that one?
Yeah.
That's
So that
cool.
was multiple
That's
offers. So two offers.
Yeah,
so
I
you,
was-
so
I
you won
almost
with
said it on that. I
you
wasn't
won
ready.
with subject to sale.
One was subject to sale.
So like
It's all obviously price, right?
yeah. So obviously price. I mean,
Full is what
you're
you're
from
saying.
Pitt Meadows, so you're, you know,
I know the realtor.
You're a reputable realtor,
Yeah.
right? And you know, it's obvious that whoever was on the other end was either like, obviously you don't know,
Yeah.
but it was probably a low ball that wasn't worth taking in the first place.
First week out,
In the
first offer.
place.
They've
So
written.
yeah, you got
They
that
actually
subject to sale. So
they even actually set a time and date for offers, which is super.
I know.
unusual.
Yeah,
I was like,
yes, no, they were holding offers until
Wednesday.
Monday. Yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah, I was part of that.
I went
for
on
sure.
Friday, and we were like, okay. So I talked to my clients. I'm like, you guys want to write? They're like, yeah, let's write. So I'm like, hey, I messaged the realtor because I know her,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey, we're probably gonna write an offer. Like, do you have any like dates
Yeah.
or? She's like, actually, we have
Really nice
like
home
a
though. That's a beautiful
DRPO.
neighborhood.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah,
It's
beautiful
nice.
neighborhood, right on the T there, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a good spot.
So we're seeing multiple offers, and in my opinion, I think we're seeing multiple offers because buyers can't make homes, right? A buyer can't make a home. Supply and demand. You might have like in a price band, let's say 1 million, 1.25, right? In Pitt Meadows, you might have 4 listings on the market, 5, 6 listings on the market. 1 or 2 of them are good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got 4 or 5 buyers looking for it. I'd say
You-
no, 1
I
or
always
2
find,
okay,
like,
or 5.
maybe.
The last
I
couple-
checked myself there. 1 or 2 buyers maybe.
if you're lucky, that's
The last
Yeah.
couple that I
If
sold
you're
in Pitt
lucky,
Meadows
yeah.
that were like super nice,
Yeah.
they got multiple offers.
That's what
like
I'm trying
if
to say.
and we didn't price too low.
Yeah.
We priced where we think we should be.
Yeah.
But it's like product. Right now when the markets are slow, I always find that there's way more listings.
Yeah. But
They're
not
all-
good. Not good homes.
They're not good.
not quality.
Not
inventory.
quality, no.
The quality inventory comes when the market shifts.
Yeah.
And it's a seller's market because those are the affluent sellers who don't need to sell in a market like this.
Yes.
And then they realize, okay, how can I take advantage of the seller market? And boom, 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 and that's when you see all the good inventory come.
So
out.
And then
Exactly.
when you're in these markets and that one shows
one
up,
comes
like
up.
like the one that we both looked at,
100%.
there
one
are
of
like
the-
15 people that were looking at houses in Pitt Meadows all gravitate towards that one because it's the nice one,
That's
right?
so-
Everybody wants turnkey.
So,
Yeah.
so let's talk a little bit more. So let's say someone who's trying to buy a home, and they're trying to buy a nice home, and they've been looking for a while, and they're trying to find that nice one. Would you assume there might be multiple offers if it's priced well in an area where there's not Surrey or somewhere where there's lots of inventory, but you know.
I don't think you expect it.
Yeah.
You want it.
I maybe
I don't think you expect it.
Would you? I guess as realtors, we would expect it more than a buyer would right now. Is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Buyers
a buyer,
don't expect that.
For a buyer being in this market and just think, oh, I'm going to walk in and lowball a house, right? Like you couldn't. The one that you got an offer on, you couldn't lowball that.
No.
You know what I mean? So I think I guess what I'm getting at is it's important for realtors right now to be advising their clients that it might be a multiple offer situation.
Yeah.
Depending on which kind of house.
If you've been looking for houses in Pitt Meadows for 3 months and you've looked at every single one and you're like, that one's average, that one's average, that one's average. Oh wow, I really like this one. If you really like it, so does
Pitt
everybody
Meadows
else.
actually out of the Greater Vancouver region. Pitt Meadows is the fastest moving market. It was 10 days on market in August,
Yeah.
and it went up to 19 last month in September. But it was only 10 days was the average days on
Dude,
market.
Pitt Meadows is so small, surrounded by everybody else. You literally drive by Harris Road and you're like, oh, I'm in Maple Ridge. No, nobody.
It's small. Yeah.
It's
Are we in
small.
Pitt Meadows right now? Where are
No,
we right now?
no,
This is
we are
Maple-
not.
We are in
Maple
Maple
Ridge.
Ridge.
I got a great story for my buyer. So
love
in Poco, first time home buyers looking at 1 bedrooms. Their budget is under 500 grand, right?
Okay.
So we exhausted all the inventory, right? And
And
we're
how many homes were on the market at that time? How many? When you say exhausted all inventory, you got a buyer under 500. Is that 6, 7 homes?
No, there's like 25.
In Poco.
30.
In
Yeah,
Poco.
in Poco. Yeah.
Got it.
Both sides of town,
You
right?
said 1
So
bedroom, 2 bedrooms, right?
1 bedroom,
Got it,
right?
yeah.
So we exhausted
You
all.
look at every single
We
one.
looked at everything they like, right?
Got it, yeah,
you know,
for
here's
sure.
your list. Pick out which ones. We'll go see.
look
I'll
at
pick
all.
out a
They're all
few.
done.
That's what I always do. Let's exhaust all the inventory. Then we're just waiting
know
for
where
new
you're
stuff, right? And then boom, one comes on the market. Call her that day. We're first in the door.
Yes.
We tied up the property that night.
Nice.
Right? We got it under asking.
Before
They're
they know
like,
what they
we
have."
want to run the open house and this and that. So we did all these tactics to tie up the property, and you know, I've done tactics even if there is an open house. I've got tactics to make sure that no one else is going to come to the table, right? Like for me with my listings, I'm not thinking DRPO. I'm thinking let's get a good group in and get an accepted offer right away.
Yeah, and
right?
if you're going to
Yes.
get multiple offers, it's probably going to happen anyways, whether you DRPO or not.
So my story with that one is we didn't let it. didn't let them have a chance to get multiple offers.
No,
Because we were
I know what you're
first in the
100%,
door. We
yeah.
were able to get in the day it listed. We're first in the door.
You wanna
and
get
we
it
tied up
before they know what they have.
the property. We knew it was a good product.
Yeah.
It was priced reasonable.
Yeah.
If that was my listing
Yeah.
and you were trying to tie it up before the open house, I would be pushing back on you going, well, if you want it before the open house and before I give a chance to everybody else, are you giving me the good enough price to accept before the open house, or am I rolling the dice and saying no to you?
You definitely don't roll.
If it's priced where it should be, yes, I will. I
Yes.
always tell my buyers that
Yeah. You
it's
did your job.
it's either priced below market value, at market value, or above that.
There's
market
only three
value.
ways you can price
The
it.
worst thing that can happen is when a really really nice house comes on the market and it's way overpriced.
Yeah.
Because then now you have to sit and wait.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to take $100,000 below asking the first day
No.
it comes on the market, because they're going to have 25 groups through.
Yeah.
They're going to get all excited, and they're going to get a bunch of offers for $300,000
So
below
risky.
asking, and then they're going to end up losing money.
Yeah.
Right, but those are the worst ones, because those are the ones that can actually get away on
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
Get away from your buyers, because they are overpriced, and you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the seller's position. You don't know, like, okay, why is it at that
And you
price?
want your clients, you want them to wait because you know it's overpriced. You want them to wait. But I always ask my clients, like, it depends on how much you like it. Like, if we waited 2 weeks and it dropped $50,000 and you could get it, obviously you'd be happy.
Yeah.
But if it sells to somebody else for $25,000 more than you're willing to pay right now, are you going to be super upset about it?
I have that
Right?
conversation. I have that conversation.
And
as
it's
well.
like
I
we
think
can
all-
we can
yeah.
push them and help them
Because you're
on
not
the
going to be
value.
mad at me here. You're
No.
not going to be mad at me. Are you going to be mad at yourself?
I've got a story when I bought my house like 19 years ago. I bought my house unrepresented, didn't know what I was doing, whatever, right? Go in
course, all
there.
of you
Oh
do.
man.
I overpaid for my house.
Yeah.
I overpaid, but I knew that I had my eye on that townhouse complex.
Yeah, you knew.
And I knew that unit, like when it
Speaking
popped
of
up.
that, we should carpool because I drive by your place on the way here.
I knew that I wanted that unit. So,
Yeah.
like, you know what? Like, me personally, like, me and my wife, we've been looking for a long time. And obviously, you guys know, being a realtor, super picky.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, if the right property came up, I would overpay for it
I did it.
because
What's 15, 20 grand?
I did it
It's
too.
your home.
I bought my cabin, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's way too much." I bought it, and then maybe
love
I
that you
feel
guys
like
say that.
overpaid
Yeah.
for it, but I got what I wanted,
and
I'm not moving for 3 to 10 years.
And when
So-
I overpaid by like 10 or 15 grand. Sure, the first couple of years when the market dipped and
What's that?
it never
Bang, that's just
went
bang.
like, but I would
That's
have
a
been
tip.
underwater if I had to sell.
Yeah.
But I knew I wasn't going
10
anywhere,
grand's
and I
just a
got the
tip.
place that I liked, and we ended up renovating, and it's a beautiful townhouse. And like when I go to sell it, I'll be able to
Is
sell
that
it in a heartbeat.
1238? Is that 1238?
Yeah, best unit in the complex, best location, like view, all that kind of stuff.
Do you know my dad
fully-
built that whole side,
Did
Oh,
he?
the whole side of Citadel that you live on.
Yeah.
That used to end at the top of Citadel. We lived in the last house on Citadel Drive.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then there was a gate, and then I don't know what's that school at the top there? What's it called?
Citadel,
Oh,
Castle
the-
Elementary.
Castle Elementary.
Yeah.
I used to ride my dirt bike right there.
Yeah.
And then my dad worked for Polygon, and they redeveloped the whole side with all those townhouses and stuff.
Yeah.
But they did all the roads and stuff, and he had the key to the gate, so we used to go in there with his car and rip
That's so
around all
close.
the
At the
streets.
top of Citadel.
And then they had the big issue with the retaining wall that was falling over.
Yeah.
down on
Oh, it was such a crazy-
Eastern or whatever.
Yeah.
O'Shaughnessy.
But yeah, I used to hang out there all the time.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it like, to go back to what we were talking about, like if you're emotionally invested in the property, right? Like, like you go for it, and like that's the thing too. Like if your clients, you're subject to sale, and you get that, and you get that notice that you're getting bumped,
Oh, it's the
you have
worst.
that conversation with them, and you say, how bad do you want this house,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Here's-
what it is.
Here's the worst case scenario for your townhouse, right? Like and it is what it is. Or do you want to keep going and see what happens, right?
Let's
But-
touch on that for a second because in my experience, I've seen a client lose a house and it destroyed them after.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because it never comes
They
back.
can't get and then you take them out to see other homes. Like if your client moves out on a home and then now that home's bought, it's gone, and you're taking them out to see other homes and they can't get over that one. it
You're-
hurts.
yeah, it sucks.
It's a pain. It's like losing a family member, right? It's really-
Honestly, like I just don't let it happen.
no, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I can't remember it happening, but like
I'm not putting
it would
myself
suck.
in a position ever to have my client lose that.
I can't say I've ever done it. I'm just
Yeah.
like that would just destroy it. That's, you know what I mean? Like,
That'd be really hard after.
For me as a realtor, like I never throw myself under the bus. Here's your options. Here's the different outcomes with all the options. Pick one.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what would you do, Ollie? Well, I'm not
This is
in
not
your
my home.
I'm
I'm
not
not
in
living
your
at home.
shoes.
Yeah.
You need to make a decision.
What?
And you know, this is what I say. I said, if it was me
Yeah.
right now in this market
I
and the
would.
perfect home came up for sale,
Yes.
and Russ was listing in it was Citadel Heights. It was a home that didn't exist, but and it was a brand new house. And
but it was $15,000 over.
and
whatever.
No, I would go into and I'd say, hey Russ, I'm buying this house full price, no conditions, and I don't give a fuck what's happening with my house. I'll
'Cause
deal
you'll
with
make-
that. I'll
you'll make
deal
it
with
happen.
that after.
You'll make it happen.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have a good product. Yeah.
Yep. No, like that's me.
You know what though?
That's me.
That's
I hear you.
because have you ever like we know we can make stuff happen. We know that like we can go in and buy, and then we just have to know that we can sell our place, whether we take whatever for it.
Yeah.
But other people, they don't have that. Like if we're doing that for somebody else, they don't have it like
No,
we do.
no, and that's when you end up in the subject to sales.
Yeah.
Like I just had a subject to sale for my clients as well. They ended up moving up the street, right? We were looking at this one place. Anyways, this perfect house popped up, and they're like, we want to do subject to sale. I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, and boom, we got an accepted offer. It was priced well. We got it below asking. We did the inspection, all that kind of stuff. We put their house on the market, and then like a couple weeks later, we ended up getting an offer, and like. It was crazy because we weren't getting any calls, like no calls.
First 2 weeks.
While you had
But-
accepted offer, getting no calls. Yeah.
But like this group had come through, but they didn't make an offer. It was so weird. They liked it, but they didn't make an offer. And then we ended
Were
up
they holding their cards close? Like, did you?
we ended up getting another offer, and they didn't want to compete in multiples. And I said, hey, the offer collapsed. And they're like, okay, we're gonna write. And they wrote, and then we got like really close to asking price, and everything ended up working out. It was great. It was timing, but yes, like they weren't comfortable to not
Yeah,
be
just
subject
to
to
risk
sale.
it,
So
yeah.
it depends on your comfort level,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And in this market, it's super risky because like you talk about that Pitt Meadows house, right? If you're not getting bumped, there's no other buyers out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
True.
there's zero other buyers for it right
Yeah.
now. So that is the biggest risk.
When you have an open house and the 5 people that come, those are the 5 people that are out buying your home, like that next weekend.
I think
You know, in a sense, you
so
know?
I gauge the market on open house activity, right?
Yes.
It's like, okay, who's coming to my open house? Is it the neighbors? Is it people who are driving by seeing the sign?
People
is it
with their
people?
realtors.
Is it people? If they're with the realtors, great.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm talking
and
about.
then you know they're
and
at
then
least
it's like
somewhat serious.
Yeah, but like I mean, in this market, you're sitting through open houses where nobody's coming.
Yeah, I got a question for you though.
Yeah.
Okay, so like when I list, we always do open houses the first weekend because I think that's when you're either getting showing request after showing request after showing request. It can kind of be annoying for the
Always,
sellers.
yeah,
Yeah.
always.
So we always do the open houses the first weekend, and then you
100%.
get those groups through. But then I never ever do an open house the second weekend because I want to know: are people actually phoning us, or are we just getting people walking through the door because they go, "Oh well, it's just got an open."
You create that contrast.
I want to know. Are people just going, "Oh well, they're having an open house next week, and we can go to that"? Because then are they going to show up, or are they actually going? Okay, well they don't have an open house, so like I really want to go
So
look
you
at this
figure out
house.
how many fish are in the water by
So
having an
you're,
open
wait-
house.
so you're waiting for potential private showings.
Yeah, I want to know. Like first
Five
weekend,
then.
okay, let's say we had 5 groups through on Saturday, 8 groups on Sunday. I'm like, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we go 2 weeks, not one phone call. Well, that open house isn't really showing us that we're getting
I
getting
like
action.
the idea. So you do no open houses the second day, not
I
one,
never
not two. And
never do it the second weekend because I want to know, are we getting any private showing requests? And if we get 1 or 2, then I'm like, okay, good. We're still getting some action. We're priced
you have no
decently.
fear of like someone because like I guess there's just not enough buyers out there right now that I mean for me I just sometimes
But is that person just because I have an open house? They're like, I'll go to that.
yeah
Like
you don't want to deal with that yeah
Or are they cool? And then I tell my clients, we had 12 people through the open house, and they're like, oh my god, that's so good.
Yeah, but
and then
there's no
crickets.
way. Yes.
Yeah.
I got
So like,
I see
do
what
you,
you're
do
saying.
you?
It's
like
weird.
So-
not trying to educate the seller, but like the open house isn't a great determination on actual buyers.
I like it.
Because
Qualified buyers,
Qualified
potentially.
buyers.
So
Yeah.
And
so,
it could be confusing.
So I
until
have,
it's solid.
I actually have a different take on it. So
Okay.
like, I'm a firm believer in open houses, and I try and have the door open all the time as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right. So my theory is, so I won't schedule my open house Monday morning at 8:00.
Yeah, okay.
Right. I'll probably wait till the end of Tuesday or Wednesday. So if there's any activity from the weekend, maybe they're giving you a call or
Yeah,
whatever. Right. You don't want to advertise your open house right away, because if you advertise your open house and someone actually interested in writing an offer, they know that there's no other interested groups.
Yeah.
Right.
Got
So I'll wait a couple days.
Because you're saying like, hey, everybody, please come again.
Yeah,
Right?
but
Yeah,
here's
for
the
sure.
thing with open houses, right? We work in an industry. How many realtors are there in Greater Vancouver right now?
15,000.
So let's say there's 15,000. There's a
No,
lot,
that's just Vancouver
right.
Board.
So
Yeah.
so most of these buyers who are represented by these realtors are not. Like, how many times you got a call or my realtor's away on vacation and this and that,
30%,
right?
yeah.
So that's why I like to have the door open, is because you never know if someone's going to come through and they're qualified. I sold a lot of open houses from people who are just coming through, and then the realtor just calls you. The same realtors
Yeah.
never come into your listing
Yeah.
until the inspection. They're just like pulling comps, and it's just like. And like, they have no idea what's going on. Some
Yep.
West Van realtor, or some
Yep.
Richmond realtor, or whatever. And but I've sold a lot of houses because of open house traffic.
I hear you.
So that's kind of my reasoning by I like to have the door
I like getting.
open.
I like talking to the public too.
But
I
there
like
is
getting
a certain point, like if you have an open house 3 weekends in a row and there's no,
I think,
and
yeah.
there's no traffic, there's either no buyers or your price too high.
Price tag.
Yeah,
That's
I
it,
think
that's it.
I agree. You want the door open. If somebody phones and says the realtor's away, I'm like, cool. You want to come? You want to come see it?
Yeah.
I'll go. I will meet you there. I will let you in. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I just don't. If you have open houses every weekend and you're like, yeah, we're doing it every weekend.
It's deceiving.
I
It can
find
be
that
deceiving.
certain buyers go, oh, well, we're not in a rush. They're having another open house. Well, maybe we'll go next week, right?
Yeah.
And I think
You're
always
putting on the pressure to get a private showing.
I always do that, skip that second weekend on purpose, just to give a contrast to see how many people came to the open house, how many private showings are we getting, and then yes, third weekend again, I'll do another open house.
I like that. So something that I saw that was cool. I don't know if it was I think it was in BC, but there was a guy who had a house for $1 million, and he did a raffle, and he sold them 2 million tickets
No way.
for $1.
Yeah, that's so sketchy.
It's
That's so sketchy.
It's sketchy.
You know, in Australia they do an auction.
The auction.
It's straight auction. I'm pretty sure it's Australia, where it's straight auction. Literally, people stand in front of the house, and a guy's standing on the steps, and and people just do the auction.
So if you had a good property, if you had a good home in a good area, because we're talking about supply and demand, right? And it was a legit house that's worth $1 million, and you list it for $1. Which I mean, you would.
I get you. You always have the reserve,
I'm
right?
not
Where-
into all
No, I'm
those
not doing it. I'm
shady
not saying doing it,
techniques.
but I'm trying to say like you're gonna get the
Do you have a reserve though? Do you say like I won't sell it for less than $1 million,
100%,
right?
100%.
I got an interesting topic. I'm sure you guys would all love to get into, kind of off of this.
Yeah.
People who price their homes too low on
Oh.
purpose to get multiple offers. They don't get what they want, and they jack
Ollie,
up the
my
price.
favorite, yes, is like,
So, like-
let's go $799 when it's worth $1 million, and then when nobody gives you $1.5 million, then you list it at 1.1 later on.
Totally.
Like, what is the
Yeah.
point of that?
That's,
Okay,
that's the biggest.
I don't
sure,
probably
sure.
don't
If
know.
it's
Real.
worth 1.1 and you want to list it for $1,050,000 because you want to sell in the first 2 weeks, and you're lucky enough to get multiple offers and you jack it back up to 1.1, great idea. But the way you go like 200 grand under, and then everybody's like, cool, I'll give you 50 grand over, and they're like, oh, we're not taking anything under $1 million. Then why are you
Why
listing
are
for
you listing-
$799?
Totally,
Like
yeah.
you're just.
I can see that. Like
And
that upsets you and I.
Not only does it
Yeah.
piss us off,
Yeah.
not only does it piss us off, the buyers out there
Yeah.
hate you.
Yeah.
They hate you.
Now you've turned on that switch for liking that property to not liking it, and you've also turned that switch off for the realtors who are
Oh,
potentially going to have buyers for that. So now you've just eliminated
Guess whose
all your
name goes
interest.
on my list?
Waste
of
had
time.
Clients who are like on my like database call me who are like, oh, I saw this house. It was for $799. I'm like,
Yeah.
And then
What's the
I
address?
got to it.
Yeah.
And like at this point now, I've looked it up so many times that people call and say, there's this house in Maple Ridge for $799. I'm like, is it Ball Street? They're like, yeah. I'm like, no.
No.
That's not what's happening.
It's like you turn them off of it right away. It's not even working because they phone us all excited and we go, no, look at the BC assessment. Let's just go. BC assessment is nowhere close to maybe what it should sell
the
for,
BC assessment is like,
but it gives you like even a gauge. Like if it's $799 but the BC assessment is 1.1, I'm like, just look at the difference.
Look
Like
at the difference. The dirt's worth
the
a
BC
million.
assessments are so old.
Yeah.
Like when you pull up a BC assessment, it was from numbers that were submitted on July 1st the previous year.
Yeah, it's so outdated.
It's so outdated. And when
Say that very clear so the viewers know exactly.
so BC assessments
Yeah.
were determined on July 1st of the previous year, and then they come out on January 1st.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's when they're that's when they're submitted. They're submitted on July 1st. So they're actually determined
It's a
before
snapshot
that.
from like a year
right?
ago.
yeah,
So
because it takes them a while to go and figure all this stuff out.
Totally.
Right?
It takes they
6
probably
months.
start working on January 1st.
Yeah.
Right?
And then
So-
you
or
like maybe
12 months,
like I
right?
know you guys know, but maybe not everybody knows. BC assessment, when they determine their value, they look at the square footage, they look at the bedrooms, they look at the lot size. They probably don't even do a drive-by. They use
No,
Google
no, no,
And
Street
they're not
View,
taking into account
and that
renovations.
is all they determine it on.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
think they go-
blanket
I
value.
think they go to the city and go to each city and ask who's submitted, who's applied for permits.
permits.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, like it's how
It's
how,
so
are, how are you
skewed.
gonna know? Have you ever had BC assessments call you for a property?
No.
I had. Remember that listing I had on Kingsway in Poco?
No.
3 years. It had a creek running. It was 10,000 square feet right on Kingsway, right by the
okay.
train tracks.
Okay.
And it had a creek running right through the middle of the property. So the creek was 10 feet from the house. So
Oh, wow.
so legal non-conforming house.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
the house burns down,
You're not allowed to build
you
your
can't-
house.
You can't rebuild it, and you can't rebuild anything ever again.
Ever
on
again
the-
on the
Because all
land.
the
on
setbacks.
property.
It's right
So
in
you
the
have
middle.
to, so you have to apply for a variance and all this kind of stuff.
Ooh,
Man,
sketch,
you're
yeah.
talking challenging listings, like I'm the king of those. But yes, anyway, I am the king of those. But BC
When
assessments
you said a creek running through the middle, I was like, oh my god, that's
yeah,
scary.
like here's the property, right, and the creek's going right. It actually went on a diagonal.
That's like a knife
That's
to
the
the
worst.
heart.
Yeah, so like every time I see a creek, I'm like, oh, creek.
Yeah.
But yeah, they actually called me and they're like, "What's up with this property?" Like, like because they had no idea. They don't go look, right?
Yeah.
And I ended up selling it. And
That's worth just
Have you ever
dirt.
had anybody dispute the BC assessment?
I haven't had any of my clients dispute it, but I'm told that some people will dispute it before they sell their house if it's low.
Yes,
To try and jack it up.
I had a property that was very on 200th. Like everywhere else is.
So that's why you would dispute it. You would
Yeah.
never dispute it if it's too low.
No.
Yeah.
And like it was on 200th. It was surrounded by industrial. Not sure why this house ended up staying as a house and not
Yeah.
converted to industrial. And they came out and they're like, "Yeah, your BC assessment. Like, we're trying to sell it for like, let's say $799." BC assessment. They get their notes. It's
Oh, you're talking about the one
a
on
year.
the hill on the right
Yeah,
there. You
yeah,
guys had
yeah.
that for a bit there by the pedestrian bridge.
Great advertising,
Langley,
200th,
yeah.
but like it was almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But the second year around, they got their BC assessment, and because like the property values were going up so much around everybody,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, it's $1.5 million. We're like, whoa, it's not 1.5. We've been trying to sell it for 800 for 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
yeah.
can't say that this is
And
worth
it wasn't that's not a
1.5.
townhouse area.
So-
It's
so-
not a townhouse
so-
site?
No, it was
on
it
that
was
side
it
of the
was
street.
surrounded by townhouses.
It was surrounded by townhouses
but it
and
was
industrial,
all
but it's
it
a
was
single
all just-
family.
Yeah, so it's like you couldn't even add to somebody else or whatever.
But while they were disputing it, you put the first line in your write-up was priced $800,000
Below assessment.
Below- yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually, like it did, like, okay, they got an email from the person that was, I guess, the assessor in that area,
Yeah.
and they forwarded me a couple questions, and I was like, we don't really need to answer any of these questions. here's the listing. We've had it for sale for 2 years.
This is evidence.
Half the price of what you guys think it's assessed for,
And it's not.
and it's not selling.
And
So
it's
like
on
you
200.
can't,
And it's on 200. I mean,
you
200
can't
is a
tell
good jump
us.
off spot to get to the
Yeah.
highway. I mean,
And you know what that was? Oh, okay, we'll review. Oh, they came back. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So they again, that just reinforces the blanket statement that they put out of, oh, this is what it should be valued at.
They just don't.
They just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the number of homes is in British Columbia, but you can't be looking at every single one, right?
No.
So they've got some type of computer program that some algorithm that they put all the property information in, and it spits out a
That's
number,
why
and
I think
what-
we're not going anywhere, guys, because an algorithm cannot determine value of a home.
no way.
In my opinion.
No.
And if it's a townhouse surrounded by 8,000 other townhouses and it's all built
if it
around
has
the same
lipstick, or
time,
if the home
sure.
has- or if the home
I'm
has-
sure you can get pretty close.
Or if the home has lipstick all over it.
But
you know
it
what I mean?
is very hard to determine value based on a computer.
For sure.
Yeah, BC assessment. Yeah, you can have two homes side by side. They're exactly the same homes, exactly, and they're different BC assessment.
How does that
They're
work?
off by 30 grand. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
One,
Right? So,
yeah.
So, guys, we're getting close to the end. Let's just wrap up a couple of things. Not wrap up, but some things for the public. So, what do you guys think for the next couple months? People always say, how's the market? So, let's answer that question while we're sitting here. What do you guys see?
I think the recent interest rate announcement. We should talk about that because it wasn't much. It was 0.25%, right?
Yeah.
So there was
Smallest
Pretty-
one they
so
could
pretty
do.
low.
The 3 times before that, 3 consecutive times, they didn't reduce the rates, right? So now they're forecasting the rates to go down potentially a little bit more.
Yeah.
And but 0.25% isn't enough for buyers to get excited.
It doesn't spur anything.
But if you go back to April 2024, I just shot my market update video today, so this is why I know all this stuff. And so if you go back, it was at
2.79%.
the policy Bank of Canada policy rate was at 5%.
Ooh.
We're at 2.5
It's
right
low.
now. So
It's
so
low.
and you think about between April 2024 and right now, right? Have we had stronger markets than we're experiencing right now? Absolutely, we have.
100%.
Right? So you know the real question is what's holding us back? My thoughts is the tariffs affecting the economy.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning of the year we were heading in a great positive direction
We were.
until the tariff war started and it all stalled. So people are scared. So in my opinion, it's only a matter of time before the market picks up again.
glad you
Are
said
we
that.
gonna see
Yeah.
are we gonna see what we saw like in the
No.
past? Probably not. Like but it does remind me a lot about COVID.
Yeah.
Like COVID was the same thing.
Yeah, everybody was scared.
Everybody was scared. Nobody was doing nothing, and then boom. But what's the difference? We're not printing money. Immigration's down, and our economy is not as strong.
You nailed it all.
So,
It's
so
really
we
good
won't
insight.
see it. We won't see as much. So I think as we
But
head
you're,
into
you're optimistic about it. What's holding us back is confidence in the
I
market.
think we won't see much happen until the new year because
Yes.
I think as we head into the holiday season, inventory is going to drop off. Right, we've seen the inventory. It's spiking. It always spikes up in the fall, but inventory historically is the lowest around December, and then I think holiday season. No one's really focusing, and we always get that little surge in January. I love January.
Yeah.
Right.
I know. It's like people are back from holidays, back in
Love
the
it.
grind, and then everybody's like, okay, well, I'm ready to buy something now. And then you see.
Do you
but-
agree then with him that that it's the buyer sentiment, the mindset is in a positive direction? People feel that the interest rates are going down. They don't have money in their pocket right now because they've been stretched for so long. But there's a little bit of better. But people are optimistic about the future.
I think so, but I think we talked about this last time, or what Ollie said last time. It's like it's crazy the herd mentality because everybody is holding back, and if you like what you just said, if you look back to what it was last year and compare interest rates, we're in a much better position
So why are people
right
holding
now.
back? Are people holding back because prices are too high? Or-
No, because they're
It's
scared.
the fear factor.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's
Yeah. So
and
prices are
a
not
lot
so
of
high.
people, and a lot of people's
They're not.
jobs are kind of like they have a
Insecurity.
job,
Yeah.
but like could that change really quickly, right?
Yeah.
So
or your wife's job,
or is something going to change where like if we were in this interest rate last year,
Yes.
it'd be crazy.
It would be.
It'd be crazy right now, and that's what's crazy to us
Yeah.
is we see that interest rates are the lowest they've been in a long
The
time.
recipe's there for it to be
There's
busy.
so many houses for sale where you can negotiate with
Yeah.
people and get a good
It's a
deal.
good time, yeah.
But in January, is that going to flip where interest rates are down a little bit lower, and then that
and
ball
the
starts
thing
rolling?
is, too, like even though the market is down, like this is like people need to realize this is a natural cycle.
Yeah.
that happens,
Yeah.
right? This is
Inflation
part.
goes up.
This
Good.
is part of the
Softens.
real
Good.
estate cycle. So being in a buyer's market is perfectly natural. Like this is nothing for people to freak out about.
100%.
Is the bubble gonna burst? Well, maybe it's already burst. I don't know,
I
but
think
like,
we're in it,
but
yeah.
not like. Like I don't think it's gonna get to levels where we're gonna be crazy. From what I've seen in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I feel like less inventory is coming on the market in the last like maybe week or so. But I'm also seeing sellers kind of dig their heels in a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing not those sale prices. They're not. At least in the areas that I'm working
You
right
don't
now,
see that
they're-
major
they're-
price
the
reduction.
major drop.
No.
And if anything, I'm telling my sellers, I said, look, like this house sold, it's not comparable to yours, but they did pretty good. Right?
Yeah, and I think
So-
digging their heels in is probably the smartest thing that they can do, because if you dig your heels in and you dig your heels in
the
and
neighbors,
you dig your heels
everybody just dig
in,
their heels in,
if everybody actually talked to each other and we're like, hey, we're all listening to Citadel Heights right now, don't undercut yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
They're
'cause
all
if you
di-
do it,
trust me, they're all digging their heels
yeah,
in there.
They're digging-
but
yeah,
because if one person,
one person
if
sells
one
for 50
person,
grand under asking because they need to sell. 'cause
oh
something
man,
happens, then
it
it's
just
fine.
ruins
I
everything.
can work when one person does that,
Yeah.
but when it's a handful and
Yeah.
like in a big
You're done.
neighborhood,
And it's comparables.
Then there's nothing you can do. Like
Yeah.
you can always work around one guy. Oh, that guy
I was desperate. Yeah, he had a subject to sale. He needed to sell.
But yeah, I think I think this is just a natural part of the real estate
100%.
cycle, and I think that like I'm always pitching ways, and there's so many ways to take advantage of this market right
It
now.
really is.
And that's what people need to realize. Like I said it last time, if you're a buyer, you should be buying.
Yeah.
Right. And
If you're a first-time buyer, you should be buying right
100%.
now.
Right.
And especially if you're going to be there for the next 3 years, three,
Yeah.
4, 5. Like if you want to fix and flip or whatever, that's a different conversation. But if you're going to be living in this home with your family
For
or whatever
3
for
to
3,
5
5,
years,
6, 7 years,
You're golden.
good to go.
You know,
Buy with one of us.
You know what, too? Like, especially in the lower end properties, right? Like the stuff with that the first time home buyers are getting into, 500,000,
Entry-level stuff.
right? Like that entry level stuff, the needle's not moving that much on
No.
there. And like, if you're good at negotiating and you find a motivated seller, you're gonna pick it up for what it's worth, maybe at the bottom of the market if this isn't the bottom of the market.
If I can
Yeah.
talk about
Right?
that,
So trying to find the bottom of the bottom is like really hard.
Yeah.
So just get yourself a good realtor.
Yeah.
Make sure they're good at negotiating
And get in.
Pick something up for a good price. Find a deal because the deals are out there.
Yeah.
And don't wait for the bottom. 'cause you just
Start
won't find
paying it down now.
I feel like
get
the
it going.
cruise ship is turning around. I don't feel like we're bottoming out further for good homes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I do when I look at the stats, I look at the city sales ratio of how many homes are selling versus how many homes are on the market. I look at the sales ratio. But then after I see the sales ratio, I go and I highlight the entry level. So like, let's say it's a condo in Port Coquitlam, right? The condo in Port Coquitlam, I'll go and highlight 400, 500 and see kind of where that's at. And those sales ratios, the entry levels are usually 30, 40% when you got the city sales ratio sitting at 9, 10, 11%, right? So you gotta look at that.
I think for me, like the biggest question is like, I've got a couple listings coming up, right? And I know they're good listings, but the question is, how many buyers are out there like for this property and this product? Like you touched on that, Pitt Meadows, there's one set of buyers out there, right?
Yeah.
So, but how many buyers are qualified and how many, so that's what determines how what sells. And if nothing's selling, there's no buyers out there.
Yeah.
But there's always I know I got a really good one coming up in Roslyn Ridge in Maple Ridge. Like it's a really good one. And we're going to be priced right where it should be, not too high, not too low.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't sell, it's because there's no buyers.
Yeah. It's not
Right?
because it's
It's
overpriced.
not because of this and that.
Tease the people. What do you got coming out? I'll tease them. What is it?
I've got so
Not all your listings. Tell them about this one.
so Roslyn Ridge, that'll be in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We're still working through the preliminary stages on that one. Just Mary Hill, I got one on Delia Street. So one of the best streets off Mary Hill, just off Eastern.
Yeah, I saw it. Up in is that a cul-de-sac? I saw your sign up hidden up the cul-de-sac somewhere. I haven't gone up the street, but I thought I saw yours.
No, there's no sign up there yet. And then I got another 1-bedroom central Poco. So that we're doing the.
How was your showings at Anchor?
Like a lot of realtors there.
In that development, there's what,
we've
8,
been doing
9, or
okay.
10 listings in that property.
And that's the thing too. Like we get people coming in and they're qualified and they like it. One guy came through with his agent. I called his agent, and the guy's like, I love this place. He's like, I'll talk to the account. We're going to be talking soon. And I talked to the agent next day. He's like, oh, we're just getting started. He wants to check out some other stuff. And I'm getting two different stories here. But it's like,
and so just to be clear, your anchor property, people are buying. When was that place purchased? 2023.
so my guy got it directly.
I understand, but when was it? I'm talking about purchase prices. People right now are getting condos that were the sale price in 2023.
Well, I don't I don't really want to talk about too much.
Not yours specifically. I'm talking about Anchor as a whole building, right? If you look
Yeah.
at all of the sales there, I mean, if someone bought a condo for $600,000, they're being listed right around $600,000 right now.
Well, they're cheaper, or people are looking to break. They're not looking to turn a profit.
No, they're
That's
trying
what
to get
I'm
rid of
trying to
it.
say.
They're
So
trying to get rid of it.
If someone's
Yeah.
looking for a good pre-sale in a good area right now, you're paying almost less the same that's what I'm paying in 2023. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah, and find those motivated sellers because
Find
they're
them.
out there.
Oh,
good
there's
deals
quite
for
a few,
sure,
especially pre-sale stuff.
That's the
Totally.
thing,
Like,
yeah.
that's the market, first time home buyer.
Yeah,
all
you
the-
should be hitting pre-sale.
Yeah.
Pre-sale.
If I can
assignments.
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
can if I can plug the 3 penthouses I have in Anchor, I'd love to sell those. Come see me.
I wouldn't check one of them. Two, three,
We did,
two.
yeah, we did the
Two.
video, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So penthouses, I have them in Port Moody. They're beautiful. Come see me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so that's what I got coming up. I would have liked to get them on the market a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
What is the holdup with Rawson? What are you doing there? What's because I mean speed to market and what?
Oh, it's just like they're just
just one of
deciding.
those houses.
They're just deciding, right? It's not, you're not always in control of the time.
100%,
right?
100%,
So-
nothing.
So
nothing big.
yeah.
What
So
about you, Russ? What do you want to?
I've got a 3-bed, 2-bath townhouse in Langley. I'm trying to sell it so we can get this house in Pittman House. So,
Cool. Is it
it's-
a double side by side garage?
no, tandem,
Tandem.
single garage, driveway parking for a truck, which
Yeah.
is always key. End unit, always nice.
Yeah, always nice.
In Langley off 207th with 800 other townhouses that are probably for sale in that area as well. But we're almost 1,800 square feet, priced pretty
That's a
good.
nice sized townhouse.
Yeah.
right. So yeah, like in that case, like it's
3
a case
bedrooms
of
only, yeah.
just
Wow.
having the right buyer come along.
I know
right?
it's like
So-
we don't want to rush. We're not trying to, lowball ourselves on the price. We think we're priced right where we should be, but we have a month, right? And that's where it's like in a normal market, or if we weren't subject to sale and we just needed to sell, we'd be right where we need to be. We'd get an offer within the first couple months, and we'd sell it for what they want. But I
this
feel
game.
like
I
it's
love
like
this game.
it's
Real estate is such a
it is a game.
It's so fluid, isn't it?
yeah.
And I think once we get this video out, maybe we're going to be the reason why the market changes.
Oh,
Ah,
it
there
could
we
be.
go.
Maybe it spurs a couple people to actually make a purchase.
Well, we got some real realtors keeping it real and a real talk, and what we're doing is we're not fluffing anything up. We're telling people what we've seen, what we know, and what we feel, and what we feel is the right. Listen to us.
It's the real.
It's the real.
Drop us some comments. We want to hear.
For sure.
We want to know what you guys want to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what do you want us to talk about? Like I know we have a lot of things
Get us
to talk
arguing.
about.
Get us arguing. Get us. Emotionally invested in something. We want to hear your guys' inquiries, comments, and stuff like that. Right? The tough questions.
Yeah, hit us.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Okay,
Wrap it up.
good job. Love it.
Swish. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next
See ya.
time. Tune in.